Smooth R&B 105.7. I am so excited. Let's just get down to business. Facebook Live and everybody else. It is an honor to say hello and welcome Mr. Mathew Knowles to the studio.
Good
Hello
morning,
there.
man. I have a slight cold, but I want to say Smooth R&B 105.7.
Wow. He put some bass in his voice. I love it. First of all, it is an honor to have you here. And I mean, there's just so many questions we can ask you. But let's just start with Kobe Bryant because we're all mourning Kobe Bryant. And I just feel, how are you feeling about that? And give us a Kobe Bryant story.
Yeah, well, I think the world is sad. Kobe gave a lot to the world. I think the most thing he did is to show young men what it was required to be a man and to be a legend and to be the greatest. Knew his craft, learned his craft, worked his craft. Just an amazing young man. I had the opportunity on a Bugaboo video. He was a guest, and just to talk with him, he was real young, maybe 19, 20.
Wow.
He's about the same age as the girls. They were all friends and all grew up together.
He was just a good guy. All
Yeah,
right.
just a good guy.
But I heard he even hit you up for a ticket.
Well,
you know, concert.
Well, actually, it was a Beyonce concert.
Okay.
And he called me, and I was really surprised because he wanted to be on the front row. That wasn't unusual. But what was unusual, he only wanted one ticket.
What?
And so after the show, I said, "Well, Kobe, I'm really surprised. Like, why would you want to come to a concert?" And he says, I just wanted to come to observe and learn from greatness. And he met that in a very humble way, that he was there to maybe find something he could use in his basketball game.
Isn't that something? Because you would think that he would just watch other athletes, but he actually.
But you're wrong. I've always said this: when someone can perform for 2.5 hours nonstop, with no timeouts, with no substitutes, with no offense, substitution, or defense, Beyonce is an athlete.
No doubt. No doubt. That's your child. Now, we, of course, are talking to Mr. Mathew Knowles. And let's talk about you because, again, obviously, you dealt with cancer.
I did.
Yeah, so now more men are getting cancer. And one of the things I thought was kind of cool, you have a campaign for male chest cancer, to change the name to male chest cancer, which I think is cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, in July of last year, I just had a red dot on my T-shirt. And I didn't pay any attention the first day. Second day, same thing. Third day, same thing. And then I finally asked my wife, I said, I see these red dots 3 days in a row. And she said, on the bed sheets, when I changed them, I noticed there was some dots. Just very small dots.
Oh.
Well, I actually sold zero radiography in the 80s for breast cancer detection. And so I had some knowledge of the modality and the disease. So I went immediately and got a mammogram and then a biopsy and then had surgery. Fortunately, because I went so early, so early, it was stage 1A, and I'm very grateful for that. But I have something else, cause and effect. What was the cause? It wasn't breast cancer. The cause is I have a BRCA2 mutation. We all have BRCA genes. They're supposed to help us fight disease and cancer. Mine is mutated, which means I have a higher risk. I want to make sure it does not mean you have cancer. It just means a higher risk for men. Prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, melanoma, and male chest cancer. For women, ovarian cancer and breast cancer. So there's a lot of people walking around who could simply, with a $250 blood test, find out if they have this BRCA mutated gene and save not only their life because it's genetic.
That's real good information because a lot of people may not even be aware of
They're
that.
not.
It make $250. What's the name of it again?
It's a BRCA, BRACA, just a BRCA test, blood test.
And you probably have to ask for that because they wouldn't normally.
Well,
just do
even
that,
a lot of doctors aren't aware because we're moving into a world of genetics, and medicine is finding out that some of these diseases are coming from a genetical place from my families. And when we look at family history, that history could be BRCA2 mutation rather than we look at it as, well, my family history is breast cancer. It might be your family history is BRCA mutation.
That's really good to know, Mr. Mathew Knowles. I mean, your career has just done everything. I know we're talking health. I'm just trying to get it all in.
Well, I did 20 years. Most people don't know my corporate career. I was in the medical division of Xerox, selling zero radiography, and fortunate to be the number one sales rep 3 years out of 8, number one in the world. So I really knew this stuff. And then one of the first blacks to sell CT and MRI scanners in America, and then went on to be a neurosurgical specialist with Johnson & Johnson. So I had 20 years of diagnostic imaging experience.
And that's something. So when you did find that, so when you made the transition, what was it that you just first saw in your girls that, or even in Beyonce, to say, okay, we're going to take this to the next level? Was it her, or was it something you saw?
Had nothing to do with her. And I talk about this in Destiny's Child, Untold Story.
Yes.
I actually was doing a surgical procedure, and the surgeon called me, the neurosurgeon called me into his office. I thought the patient, something had happened. And he just simply told me he couldn't use my instruments anymore because of this word managed care, meaning that the hospital was about to take his privileges away to practice because his cost per operating procedure was the highest of the hospital. So it's all about cost. And I remember calling immediately my then wife, Tina, and saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't sell price. That's not what I do. And so I had to change careers. I had to dig deep inside and find what was my passion. And music I loved, grew up with music, was in a boy group in high school.
You were in a boy group? Oh, back up. You were?
Yeah, we're just for fun. It was nothing serious, but we were having fun. I loved it. My dad used to make me DJ every Sunday when mom and dad were going in that living room with the plastic that you could never go sit on.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one?
Uh-huh.
So after Sunday dinner, I would have to spin the records and have a nickel, dime, quarter, so whatever groove was in the vinyl, because he got really upset if it scratched, So I made sure, and then I began to read the liner notes and got into it. So I made that choice, and I talk again in Destiny Child Untold Story.
When is that going to be hitting us, the Untold Story? Because, I mean,
it's the number one bestseller at Amazon.
No. I'm thinking of you doing a play.
Oh, well, the play got pushed back because of my
my
physical health, the cancer scare. So it got pushed back to 2021.
Okay, we look forward to that. But let's talk about the books too, because you've got a few of them. I was looking you up. This is obviously a bestseller. You've got the DNA of Achievers.
That was my first book.
Yeah,
a bestseller.
I remember that. But we might as well get them all, right?
Emancipation of Slaves Through Music, Racism from the Eyes of a Child, and
that one I definitely remember.
Public Relations, Media and Public Relations.
Yeah, so all of those are just amazing. But the DNA of Achievers, because you said 10 traits of highly successful achievers. What's one trait before we wrap up?
It's only the most important one is passion. You have to live your passion, the thing that excites you and motivates you, the thing that you wake up in the morning, can't wait to do, go to bed at night, can't wait for the next day. Because when you live your passion, you never work a day in your life.
I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank
I
you.
know you've got to go jump on an airplane. It is a pleasure meeting you. It's a pleasure just sharing with you.
And if anyone would like to book me to speak, I do a lot of public speaking. They can go to MathewKnowles.com. And my agent who's here, Shani, will be right there to call them back.
Yes, she will. That I know for a fact. I'm Lynn Hayes with Smooth R&B 105.7.